Well, the last 10 to 12 days has pretty much been a dead run. If you've been watching the videos, you've seen them from the side of the road, from in front of cheap motels, from pretty much everywhere, from the Gathering of Eagles for 3 days. But now I'm back and I'm in the studio, and I actually took a day yesterday just to relax. I got to watch the whole football game. I got to spend time with my grandsons and my granddaughter, and it was a really good, relaxing Sunday. I wonder though, do you take the time? Do you make the time? There are 3 R's that are they're not the reading, writing, arithmetic stuff we used to study, but there are 3 R's that are very hard to acquire these days. And that's the time to rest, to read, and to reflect. And I do find that life is a whole lot easier to deal with when you take the time to rest, to read, and to reflect. Now, some would say you've got to be very specific on your reading. I would say when you're talking about resting, to rest and read go together really, really well. And I don't mean binge on Netflix, and I don't mean binge on YouTube videos or just to read your Facebook updates. That's not the kind of reading that I'm talking about. While that may for some people be restful, for most that's a little stressful. Not to mention the idea that the screen time adds up, and it has an accumulative effect on your brain and on your eyesight and all kinds of things. But to take your mind away from that and find a book, a good book, and I don't care if it's a self-improvement book, if it's a fiction novel, if it's a nonfiction research book, but anything that engages your brain while you're in a rested state gives you a little more opportunity to absorb it than if you're trying to read it in a stressful state. If you're trying to study for a class or to pass a test, and you're doing that while you're all stressed out, the hormones in your body don't make learning conducive in that moment. That environment is not real good for learning. A relaxed state is a whole lot better for learning. That's why you see so many people with a good book at a coffee shop. They just want to sit down with a cup of coffee, and even though there's a den of people around them, their mind is in what they're reading. And a good book will take you into the story and let you feel like you're part of the story, like you're one of the characters. And the challenge with doing that under stress is that you've got this, what Dr. Leaf calls the milkshake caused by multitasking. The multitasking milkshake is what she calls it. What it really means is that your brain is trying to do so many diverse things simultaneously, it doesn't know which hormones and emotions to blend together. And it creates all kinds of what could be brain damage in the brain. But to rest and relax go together very, very well. To rest, meaning to cease from all work for a little while. And then to read, if you're a studier of scripture, to read in a relaxed state, that kind of stuff allows that bidirectional communication to take place, where new things can be revealed as you're studying. Because you're in a relaxed state, it's a lot easier to receive them than it is to receive them while you're running up and down the road. And even if you're listening to scripture on your phone or in your car, listening to it and reading it are different. Listening to it will get it in your mind, and if you're focused enough, you can memorize it that way. And if not, then at least it gets in your subconscious mind. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's entirely different than reading to study. Reading and underlining, reading and writing your own thoughts next to it. Reading and then writing out, what does that mean to you? How does it apply? What relationships does that apply to? That's the kind of reading that I'm talking about, and that really takes you to the next phase of reflecting. It's nice to be able to rest, to just disengage from everything, to step back and have a moment to quell your mind and let all the noise of life get away from you. It's not only nice, it's important. It's very important to your biological health and to your mental health. But if you can do that and then add to that a little bit of knowledge gaining, a little bit of taking your mind elsewhere for a while that comes through reading, and then also kind of wrap all that up into a braid with the reflection time of saying, now that I know something that I didn't know before, now that I've experienced this opportunity in a different way, What will I do with it? How will I act, behave, think, respond differently with this a little bit of information? Now, here's something that I know for a fact. Children and grandchildren are awesome, but they don't know that you need time to rest and relax. They don't know that you need time to read and reflect. Jobs don't know or don't care that you need time to rest and relax or to read and reflect. They don't care. Bill collectors, lawns. I've never met a lawn who said, hey, just ignore me for a couple of months. I'll be all right. No, a lawn demands your attention all the time. Pets demand your attention all the time. Life tends to come at us that way. But I can tell you this for certain. Just like speed bumps won't hunt you down if you're sitting still in life and doing nothing, rest and relaxation won't either. If you don't pursue rest and relaxation, if you don't pursue a quiet time to read and time to think and reflect, if you don't seek those things out, you won't stumble across them. I promise you. And they won't come hunting you down. If you don't mark a time on your calendar for a personal retreat just to get away for a day and relax, it's not coming. No one's going to gather around you and go, hey, we're here for an intervention. We want you to rest and read. No. If there are people in your life that are close to you, they have demands on your time. I heard someone recently say, and I wish I could give full credit for who it was, but they said, either you will manage your time or someone else will manage it for you. Either you will manage your money or someone else will manage it for you. Somebody's going to manage your time and your money. And if it's not you, it could be anybody else who influences your life. Because they all have a plan for your time. And they all have a plan for your money. Whether you have very little of it or a whole lot of it. Time or money. But if you want time to rest, and you want time to read, and you want time to reflect, you have to mark those things on your calendar. Take the special time away to do it yourself. And again, I don't care if it's a couple of hours in the afternoon at the coffee shop on a Sunday afternoon, or if it's taking a weekend away to go sleep in a tent on the side of the road somewhere or in a cheap hotel, or if you have the funds to take a weekend away and go to a resort. But you have to have time to rest, to read, and to reflect. And you have to make that time. Nobody's going to give it to you as a gift. Nobody's going to hunt you down to make sure you get it. And time to read, time to rest, and time to reflect will not hunt you down themselves. You have to be intentional about that. And I can promise you this, though. The first couple of times that you take the time to just get a good book, and again, I don't care if it's an old novel, if it's scripture, if it's a book on psychology, I don't care what it is. When you take the time to just slow yourself down, disengage from life for a couple of hours, absorb something new, and let your brain be stimulated in a relaxed state, and then think about, how does that apply to my own life? What decisions could I make differently knowing what I know now that I didn't know then? Your life will be much richer for it. When your energy level is reinvigorated and your mind is not so pressed, you'll find yourself a lot easier to deal with as well. People around you will find you more pleasant. It's a true story. People around you, when you're in a relaxed state, when you're in a rested state, enjoy you more. Are they worth it? Even if you look at yourself and say, I don't have time to rest, I got too many things to do, I got too many projects and too much work. That's true. But if you rested first, you could do those things better. If you rested first, you'd be more enjoyable in the process. If you rested first, you'd be better prepared. Take the time to rest, to read, and to reflect. And you'll find yourself rejuvenated in a way like you couldn't even imagine. More powerful, more potent, more productive. If you will take the time, intentionally schedule it, intentionally make it happen. It won't happen to you. You've got to make it happen. To rest, to read, and to reflect. I'm J Loren Norris, and you've been watching Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.